Hey everyone, Scoop Scientist here. Me and a fellow scientist who has a channel called Nathan's Scientific Stuff have been discussing an effect called the Coriolis effect. If you don't know what that means, it's basically that water or hurricanes, they like spin or flow in a clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere and an anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. Now, because I live down here in the southern hemisphere and Nathan lives in the northern hemisphere, we've decided to do the test on that on either end. So what I've got here is a sink, literally, just an old sink here. I'm going to fill this up with water and leave it once for a few hours, and then next time overnight, just so the water can settle. And then after I leave it for the hours, I'm going to unplug the plug that I put in it and hope that the water flows clockwise so we can see the Coriolis effect in action. So let's do it. There you go, that fits rather nicely right there. So basically I'm hoping this will work. I've got a giant ball of blue tack right here. I'm just going to plug the bottom of it and then fill it up with water and leave it there for a few hours. And the whole point of plugging it at the bottom is so when you get to unplugging it, you don't reach your hand in and disturb the water that's been sitting still for many hours. So make that nice and secure so it doesn't fall out. And I've got some buckets of water down here for me. Just pour straight in. Alright, so within a matter of seconds of me pouring the water in, it actually started leaking. I have secured it a bit better, the blue tack, but I really need something that's waterproof. For instance, Nathan used wax on his video, but I don't actually have any wax. All I've got is that blue tack, so let's hope it holds up a bit more. Yeah, it's leaking a lot, so I'm going to go for a plan B. As a plug down the bottom, blue tack just isn't water resistant. You know, I don't know if you can see that just then, but when I drained that out, the water was actually going clockwise. But I don't take that as a valid experiment because the water was disturbed greatly just then, so let's try this experiment again. Alright, so here's my idea. I've got this plastic here. I can wrap that around the bottom there, cable tie it a few times, put some rubber bands on it, and tape it. That way, well, that plug isn't so easy to unplug, but if I get a sharp object like a knife, I can just stab it in there so the water can then leak out. There we go, that's looking more promising. Yeah, so I can just get a knife and stab it down there when I need to unplug it. But now let's fill it up with water. Okay, let's test that. I'll have to wait a little bit, see if there's a leak, but hopefully there shouldn't be. That seems pretty watertight. There's a lot of dirt and things in there. I couldn't really help that. I tried to make it as clean as I could, but hopefully that shouldn't alter the water in any way to make it that the experiment is faulty. Yeah, there we go. So that's all set up. I'm just going to leave this. Well, it's 4:30 right now. I'll probably come back out at about 8:30 or 9. Alright, so it is now nighttime. You can see my watch says 8:26. That is pretty well 4 hours later. This water has been sitting there very still, and you can see it's looking really yellow. That must have been pretty unclean. But anyway, I've got a knife here. I'm gonna stab the bottom there. Stab that. And so we're looking for the water to be going clockwise again. You know what? Interestingly enough, right there, what I saw, I hope I had the camera right there, but what I saw was the water start to flow counterclockwise. So I was looking for it, because I'm in the southern hemisphere, I was looking for it to be flowing clockwise, but that one was counterclockwise, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so that was just 4 hours of the water sitting there. Maybe that's because I didn't have it sitting there for long enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to plug that, fill it up, and let it sit overnight. Alright, so it is 20 hours later, finally. Here's the water, it's been sitting here for 20 hours. I'm going to grab this knife, and then I'm going to put in this dye here. Alright, so let's stab it. Let's hope it goes clockwise. Look at that, formed a ring of dye. So there it is, there's all the water down. It was a bit hard to catch on camera because of the red. The red was all sitting down here, and the streams of it were above it, so it was a bit hard to see that. But what I saw there was actually, it almost seemed like a bit of both, but I did see curves of the dye going clockwise. So those results there are more promising than the last ones because they went anti-clockwise from what I saw. Anyway, and now I've got a drum full of water. I've got to empty that out, but so yeah, that was after 20 hours. I left it there, and it seemed to go clockwise. It was a bit hard to see though, unfortunately. Well, anyway, that was the experiment of me demonstrating the Coriolis effect in the southern hemisphere. If you did want to check out Nathan's video, there will be a link in the description for that, and there will also be a link for Nathan's video then. So the results for my experiment were clockwise after leaving it for 20 hours. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see future videos like this.
Alright, there's a lot less water in here now. It's starting to spin really fast. Look at that, it's glowing.